Yo, what is going on, guys? Today's video is not going to be me playing a Mr. Nice Guy. I am going to be super critical on things that Treyarch are doing wrong. They're trying way too hard to please everybody to the point where they're literally ruining the game, but it's nothing they can't fix. I just have to make my voice heard. Before I get into that topic though, I'm going to explain what I'm playing here. This is for my first few games of the brand new mode called Heat. And it is actually a brilliant mode. It's like S&D and CSGO had a baby. You have to play the objective, which is to get the cash and take it back to the objective. But the thing is, you only have one life, similar to S&D. You have to pick up the ammo and the health packs off the ground, sort of like Blackout. But the thing is, you literally need to buy your guns and your armor, your perks, everything. And by playing objective and getting kills is how you earn money to buy the weapons and your loadout every single round. It's super cool. Probably my new favorite mode in Call of Duty. But all that positivity aside, let's get into the real topic of what I want to talk about today on how Treyarch is ruining their game. So, jumping back to the week 1 beta, I had only good things to say for the most part about the game. But jumping to week 2, they've made a bazillion and one changes, nerfs, buffs, and the biggest one by far is to the movement. The sliding is nowhere near as fluid and doesn't feel as good, and you don't slide as far. The jumping, you don't jump as high. They've basically scaled back the movement because of a few people crying. Now, the only people I can imagine crying about how fast-paced and movement-orientated Black Ops 4 is the people that played World War II or the people that can't aim. The people that are garbage at the game. Only them people would be complaining about the fast-paced action that was Black Ops 4 week 1. They were crying because they missed their bullets when someone slid. They missed their bullets when somebody jumped. So they had to go and complain about the movement. Now Black Ops 4 in week 2 is feeling sluggish and slowed down a bunch. It's not completely terrible, but it is an insane noticeable amount on how much they affected the movement. I can still straight turn on people, but it just doesn't feel like how the game was made to play. Treyarch never envisioned this. They're listening to the community too much, to the point where they're making unnecessary game-breaking changes that nobody wants. Movement and fast pace is what makes Call of Duty great, and what sets Treyarch apart from the other developers. World War II was definitely a stuck-in-the-mud Call of Duty compared to a lot of the others, and that is why that game was dead on arrival. Yes, there were still people playing it. Yes, there's some people that enjoyed it, but I feel like that player base are the ones that were crying about Black Ops 4. They weren't used to fast-paced action, they couldn't keep up in the environment, and they couldn't adapt. Give them time and they will learn though. Just because they're missing shots, just because they're not used to a fast-paced, action-packed environment, doesn't mean you make game-breaking changes and slow it down for the rest of us. The movement was literally most of the skill gap in this game that set the good players and the bad players apart. Accuracy is a good part too. The best example I can give of another developer doing a similar change was if people complained about building in Fortnite and was like, I can't keep up with these people that build, so Fortnite removed building. Which everybody know would completely ruin Fortnite. Movement and fast-paced action is literally Call of Duty's bread and butter and something it needs in the game. The reason I'm ranting about this so much, the reason I'm fired up about this so much, is because this game has so much potential. They're trying way too hard to please people to the point where they're making a number of unnecessary changes that nobody wants. Speaking of unnecessary changes, that leads me on to my next topic. The SMGs had a major rework week 2. Some of them now are completely doo-doo with the amount of recoil they added to the guns. I feel like nerfing was definitely the wrong step to take. Yes, some of the SMGs were dominant. Instead of nerfing them to the point where some of them are now unusable or I don't like anymore, why didn't they just buff everything else? A lot of the complaining was to do with kill time, which I thought was fine. instead of nerfing guns and making them bad to the point where they're unusable, something they did back in Black Ops 3, if people remember. The Razorback was the best SMG in the beta. They ended up nerfing it in the beta to the point where the Razorback was one of the worst guns in the game that nobody used when the game came out just because it was good in the beta. Don't make the same mistake you did in Black Ops 3. Don't make some of the good guns unusable just because some people complaining. Instead, you can fix it by buffing other weapons and making other guns more viable. That is definitely the right direction to take, in my opinion. And all these changes, we need to make our voices heard. It's obvious Treyarch has been listening to the community, but they've been listening way too much. And they're making so many changes. They're like running around in their office like, what can we do to please these guys? Quickly, quickly! It seems like everything's too rushed and they're making stupid decisions at this point. And I'm going to be straight up and honest and voice my opinions because I know they're listening and I know our voices matter in this argument and I want this game to be good. I know Call of Duty probably don't like me dissing their game or saying they're making dumb decisions because back in Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty actually reached out to me, sent me beta codes, sent me the game a day early, but I ended up speaking out about World War II, making a criticism video, and Call of Duty literally hasn't spoken to me since. The official Call of Duty page actually follows me on Twitter. I DM'd them, I tweeted them, they wouldn't even send me a code this year because I was so vocal on World War II. I'm not just going to play Mr. Nice Guy in the hopes that Call of Duty will rub my back. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to speak my opinions. I don't care about Call of Duty rubbing my back. All I care about is a good game to play. Some of the changes they made in this beta, I do agree with though. They made some of the equipment harder to earn. Nine Bang, the explosions, some of the specialists. Like, making the BS harder to earn, I agreed with. I think they should make game changes a little bit slower. After one weekend of the beta is just not enough time to slap the ban hammer, the nerf hammer, the buff hammer on everything. You need to make critical decisions, smart decisions, and not game-breaking decisions. Stuff that takes time. In my opinion, what they need to do to fix this game, because I'm not going to present a problem without a fix, is revert all changes back. And if they're going to make any changes to the movement, make them super minor so the game still flows good. With the SMGs being super dominant, instead of nerfing them to the ground, what they need to do is make the other guns match them. Make the assault rifles match them, you know? Buff them up. Make them more usable instead of making guns that were decent unusable. I want to be able to use an assault rifle. I want to be able to use any SMG I want, you know? Instead of like majorly nerfing, focus on bringing other weapons up to par with some of the best guns in the game. That's definitely the direction I think they should take instead. I know they're listening to the community, so we need to make our voices heard. It's literally so important I make this video. If I go around being like, oh my god, this is amazing, nothing will get fixed. We have to make our voices heard. Treyarch definitely are listening to the community, so we need to make our voices heard. This game has so much potential. All the developers need to do is take the right steps and don't rush anything, because week 2 beta, everything feels rushed. It was like they were in panic mode at the Treyarch studio saying, what do we need to do, and trying to take everyone's feedback and jam it all together. Honestly, if they just take the direction of buffing some of the other weapons up and taking armor out of the multiplayer, because that was one of the biggest things that people wanted gone from the game. It makes sense for armor to be in the Battle Royale. It even makes sense for armor to be in the heist mode. If you guys play it, you'll understand. But armor in normal multiplayer doesn't really have much place in Call of Duty. Having to shoot somebody more bullets than it takes them to kill you is literally just so dumb for the general Call of Duty experience. It just shouldn't be in Call of Duty in my opinion. But honestly, I want to know what all you guys have to say about this update. I want your guys' voices heard. Don't just take what I said about the multiplayer beta and my opinions. I want to hear your guys' opinions. what you guys think. Because after all, I'm just one person, but together we are a community, and we need to make our voices heard, and not just the Reddit crybabies that wanted the movement nerfed. I don't want the little minority to make severe changes that break this game in general. I want everybody's opinion on this matter, what you guys think, because that's hopefully the direction they ended up taking, what the people actually want, not just a few minority crybabies, because no matter which direction they do take, people are gonna be upset about it. Let's just hope this game goes in the right direction. Anyway, that is all for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to titty smack that like button, and if you're not subscribed, you look down, that subscribe button is red. Definitely hit that one too. Peace out, bros. I'll see ya in the next one.